My family and I, we are really close-knit. So much so that we try to go on vacation together at least 2 to 3 times a year. And if someone is unable to join us, we make sure to bring them back a souvenir. My name's Ginny. I'm 27, and I live with my family. My dad is usually away due to his busy work schedule. My sister is married and has moved out, so it's usually just my mom and grandfather at home. Lately, though, there's something off about my sister. Even when she visits, she often seems down. What's wrong, sis? You seem off these days. Huh? No, I'm alright. Really? I haven't seen you smile in a while. Is there something going on with your in-laws? No, nothing's wrong. Stop saying weird things. My sister seemed overly defensive and ended up losing her temper. She left for her in-laws' place that day, but she seemed reluctant. After a few days passed, my sister was back. This time she looked really scared. What's wrong, sis? Why do you look so terrified? I'm not terrified. But you're trembling. What happened? Oh, no, nothing. It's just a bit cold. I was quite concerned seeing my sister in this unusual state. Shortly after, someone came to our house. It was Sean, my sister's husband.
So you were here, huh? We were worried.
Oh, Sean.
Sorry for the inconvenience. She got a bit homesick, it seems. Let's go home, Rachel.
Oh, okay. And she left with Sean. There was an air of desperation about her. Mom, don't you think there's something off about sis? You thought so too? She looked really scared when she saw Sean. I thought the same. I was worried. Do you think she's being mistreated at her in-laws' place? With that thought, one day, I decided to visit her in-laws' place. Layla, my sister's mother-in-law, greeted me. Oh my, it's been a while, Ginny. What brings you here? Well, my sister has been acting strange, so I was wondering if everything was all right here. Everything's fine here. There's nothing unusual. Really? If you say so. We were chatting at the entrance when I heard a loud noise from the living room. Oh, what's happening? What's that noise? I don't know. Anyway, I'm busy today. You should head back. Wait a minute. Why won't you let me in? You're already in the doorway, aren't you? That's not what I meant. Layla flatly refused to let me inside the house. Eventually, I was turned away and couldn't check on my sister. However, a few days later, a shocking incident occurred. My sister returned home crying. Oh, what's wrong, sis? Are you okay? What happened? All she did was cry. She couldn't tell me what had happened. Upon closer inspection, I noticed several bruises on her body. It seemed like she'd been harmed by Layla and Sean. This is awful. How could they do something like this? I held my sister tightly as we cried together, but it seemed she had something even more troubling on her mind than her own well-being. The baby! Our baby! My sister already has a child, but the little one is still an infant, unable to do anything by himself. She had come here, but there was no sign of the baby with her. Sis, where's the baby? What happened to the baby? As I asked, she answered through her tears. The baby. They hurt our baby. What do you mean they hurt? What did they do? I've been enduring this for so long. Sean's abuse, my mother-in-law's unreasonable harassment, but when I finally fought back, they threatened the baby. That's too horrible. In order to protect the baby, I endured as much as I could, but... From there, her voice quivered and couldn't speak any further. That's when Grandpa arrived.
What's going on? What happened?
My sister, in tears, explained the situation to Grandpa.
Huh?
That's all Grandpa said after hearing the story. In the next moment, he was on the phone with someone. Who are you calling? When I asked, Grandpa didn't answer, but simply said, we're going to their house. So, taking Mom, my sister, and me along, Grandpa drove us towards the in-laws' house. After about a 10-minute drive, we arrived at their place. What's going on? What a surprise to see the whole family come over. The one who welcomed us was Layla. She spoke as if she knew nothing.
I've heard that you hurt my dear granddaughter, and even my great-grandchild.
Grandpa said this quietly, but Layla just laughed. Who cares? It's not a big deal. And besides, it's all her fault anyway. She pointed at my sister. I wondered what she could possibly be blaming my sister for. She told Sean to limit his sausage intake because of its high purine content, since he was eating it almost every day. What's wrong with letting him eat what he likes? My sister had simply been concerned about her husband's health.
And you? You hurt my granddaughter over something like that?
You're the ones making a fuss over nothing. It's absurd for you to come all the way here with your whole family. Are you fools? Layla was laughing, not at all embarrassed. Grandpa was silent, but the lines between his brows showed. He was clearly angry. Then my sister's husband Sean appeared.
Hey Rachel, you're finally back. Did you go to your parents again? I was worried about you, you know.
He didn't look worried at all as he spoke.
So, why is the whole family here?
We're here to take you down.
Huh? Take down? Mom, what's this old man talking about?
I don't know, maybe he's going senile? While Layla and Sean were laughing, Grandpa started to laugh as well.
The hell are you laughing at?
I was just thinking about what's going to happen to you two. Should be any minute now.
Arrive? What are you talking about?
As Grandpa finished his sentence, one car after another began pulling up and parking in front of my in-laws' house.
What's happening?
People started getting out of the cars, one after the other, completely surrounding the house. There must have been about 30 people there, give or take, and I recognized most of their faces. They were all my relatives. What on earth? Who are all these people? Why have so many come?
They're my family. They all thought they'd step in because they heard my precious granddaughter had been mistreated.
What? Stop crowding the front of our house like this. You're being a nuisance.
Well then, let's go inside your house.
With that, Grandpa led our relatives inside the house. Hey, don't barge in like that. We followed Grandpa inside, and in the living room, there was my sister's baby, crying. Oh no, his face is all swollen. My sister quickly picked up the baby. Could it be they've been hurting the baby ever since my sister left? That would be a major problem.
Did you really hurt such a small child?
That's not it. This was an unavoidable situation. We didn't want to do this. According to Layla, the baby wouldn't stop crying, so they had no choice but to hit him. Normally, you don't hit a child just because they won't stop crying. Layla and Sean are not right in the head.
I can't forgive this. How dare you do this to my family? Some of our relatives are police officers, so it's possible to take you in on assault charges.
Grandpa was saying this in anger. Wait, you have police officers? But doesn't this fall under civil matters?
Not necessarily if there's evidence of assault.
When Grandpa checked with the relatives, they agreed. After what they did to my sister and the baby, I won't be satisfied until they're taken away by the police. But Layla and Sean were still making feeble excuses. There's no need to push this hard. We just need to ensure this doesn't happen again. It's cruel to be so angry over this. Layla's voice trembled as she said this. It seemed she realized the severity of the situation.
Hey Rachel, say something too. We didn't do anything wrong, did we? It was just a little rough handling.
Even Sean started to make a pathetic excuse. But my sister just looked down in silence.
Hey, say something, Rachel. We're married, right? Help me out here,
Sean yelled at my sister. Grandpa immediately shielded my sister and yelled at Sean.
How dare you talk to my granddaughter like that?
But Rachel and I are married. You can't just meddle in a couple's issues like this. It's not right.
Sean tried to argue back, but Grandpa didn't flinch. He just kept confronting Sean.
Enough is enough. By your logic, no matter how much you hurt Rachel, we can't intervene because we're not blood related? As family, how can we possibly stand by?
Grandpa's rage was unyielding, and Sean was so scared that he started to cry. Wait just a minute. You're the ones who barged into our house. Isn't that trespassing? If I call the police, aren't you the ones who would get arrested?
We're willing to face any punishment for that. But you should be aware that you're doing something far worse than us trespassing, right? You need to face that first.
Wait, what are you saying? Tears began to stream down Layla's face. Suddenly, Layla stormed into the crowd of relatives.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
As Grandpa tried to stop her, Layla had already lunged at my sister.
What were you thinking, calling all these people over? You're causing us problems. Go home, now.
Layla was shaking my sister by her shoulders.
Fix this. Fix this right now. Stop it. Let go.
Grandpa forcefully pulled Layla away.
Wow, throwing a fragile woman like that. How cruel. Could this be considered assault?
Layla tried to provoke him, but Grandpa was not swayed.
Don't think that'll work. Instead, the problem is you attacking Rachel just now.
But it's not my fault. We were living peacefully and then this happens because of her.
You might have been living in peace, but Rachel wasn't. It seems you've been quite cruel to her. Even to your own great-grandchild. How can you be so shameless?
I'm not being shameless. I'm just stating the facts. Right? Rachel, say something. You've been silent this whole time. It's your fault all of this is happening.
Layla continued to yell at my sister. Then, my sister, who had been silent with her head down, finally spoke up. Mother-in-law, I don't want to live in this house anymore.
What are you talking about?
You and Sean have always treated me terribly. I never thought my marriage would be like this. I want a divorce.
A divorce? What are you saying all of a sudden, Rachel?
My sister must have been holding back for a long time. To protect her child, she sacrificed herself. But with the support of Grandpa and Mom, she seemed to find her courage. She declared her intention to divorce Sean with a steely gaze.
Don't joke around. I'll never agree to a divorce. You're going to live as my servant forever.
No way. I'm not your tool. I won't let you control me.
You're
definitely my granddaughter. When you decide to act, you really act.
Grandpa was impressed by my sister's strong stance.
This isn't the time for this conversation. I won't allow a divorce with Sean. I need a servant too. If you're saying you'll divorce, you need to pay Sean compensation.
Why would there be any need for compensation?
Of course.
You've been a pain in the neck for Sean all this while. You owe us a few $1 million in damages.
Hold on, that's out of line.
Grandpa quickly stepped back into the conversation.
It's rather you who've been the bother, isn't it? You've treated Rachel and my great-granddaughter horribly. You should be the ones paying damages in the divorce.
What? There's no way we're paying that. Besides, we don't have that kind of money.
I won't accept any excuses. You'll pay, even in installments. We have lawyers in the family, so don't think you can just run away.
What? You even have lawyers?
Mom, what are we gonna do in this situation? Should we apologize?
Fool! What are you talking about? We don't even know if an apology will be accepted.
But if the company finds out we're getting divorced, it will become awkward at work. Work?
Grandpa seemed to remember something when he heard that.
Come to think of it, I felt like I'd heard of Rachel's husband's company somewhere. I remember now. You work for the company run by my relatives.
What? You have relatives there too?
There are plenty of punishments waiting for you. But your trespassing isn't the worst of your crimes, is it? We'll need to address that first.
Fired? Not just divorced, but fired? Don't joke around. I absolutely won't allow that.
Do you think saying you don't want to will get you off the hook? Reflect on what you've done.
Mom, do something. I'm going to get fired.
You people. This is just outrageous. It's unfair. Piling up on us like this.
Who was the one doing outrageous things first? All I've been doing is protecting my adorable granddaughter.
Grandpa's eyes were stern as he glared at Layla and Sean. They were so frightened they couldn't even retort.
Let's end this conversation here. Rachel, you can rest easy. Our relatives will handle the rest.
Thank you, Grandpa. As Grandpa began to leave the in-laws' home with my sister, Layla and Sean started to cry out in despair.
Wait! We're the ones who were wrong. Please, don't go through the divorce. I'm begging you.
Sean was shouting desperately, but my sister didn't look back. She got into Grandpa's car and they drove away. You should give up. Everything that's happened is your own doing.
Why? Why did this have to happen? It's all Mom's fault. What? I'm not the one at fault here. You are.
What did you just say?
Sean and Layla kept arguing until they were out of sight. We went home after that, leaving the legal matters to our family lawyer, the police, and our company's owner. In the end, my sister was able to divorce Sean and even managed to get a settlement. Furthermore, Sean was fired from his job and it seemed hard for him to find a new one. My sister was finally free and she couldn't help but cry tears of joy. A while later, we noticed Sean begin to loiter around our house. It seemed like he wanted to reconcile with my sister, but she had no intention of that happening. The moment Grandpa saw Sean, he was furious. He immediately called our family member, who was a police officer, and had Sean arrested for stalking. After that, a restraining order was placed on Sean, and he no longer came around our house. Finally, peace had come to our home. My sister said she plans to raise her baby with the support of our family for a while. I too am helping take care of the baby and enjoying my life with my wonderful family.